Recently, there was Kamal Hassan coming out with an election promise, where he said that women should be paid for doing the household work. Absolutely, they should be compensated in some or the other way. And let us have a look at how women are contributing to the GDP and how much is the contribution based on some amount of statistics that were collected or reported in the past. Okay, so before we go ahead, let me quote one person. It's Antoinette Brown Blackwell, who was the first woman Protestant minister in the United States. She once said that wife owes service to husband as much as a slave does to the master. So it shows that mostly the wife and the husband relationship is mostly of a slave and a master type, when one person is doing a lot of work to keep one person or the entire family happy, right? Even though it looks a little gracious and gratitude kind of work, but with no compulsions, but the compulsions are taken in, and the amount of work that they do is unmatchable with respect to the amount of work the partner does at home, right? So women also are treated as goddesses, but they deny them equal rights. They do not enjoy the same amount of rights as the husband does. And moreover, if you take an example of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, they have gone ahead a step. They've gone a step ahead, and they have come out with a new law called love jihad, wherein you cannot even choose your own partner whom you want to marry. So this is the kind of status, or this is the kind of control that are being put on the women as far as possible. Right now, let us have a look at some of the statistics that's there, which highlights the burden on women. In 2011 census, about 159 million women were part of the household work activities, and when we compare it with men, it was just 5 million men. So 159 to 5, which is a huge stark reality. There's a huge amount of gap in that. The Time Use in India survey 2019 clearly highlighted this stark by saying that about 299 minutes per day is spent on household work by the women. And when we take a look at the men, it's just 97 minutes of work. And plus 134 minutes of caregiving is also done by women. So that also shows that they work 24/7 almost. So women's economic contribution through their unpaid work, which was a case study in India in 2009, highlighted that the amount of contribution that housewives or household workers who are primarily women, it's about 612 billion per year. And imagine if this also is accounted into the GDP, we would have a tremendous amount of contribution to our GDP, because it is these people who nurture back at home, which allows the people at home to go out and work and bring income back to the family. So without the basic nurturing that's happening at home, nothing else can work outside homes. And every company should actually recognize family as a unit and not just give benefits to the person whom they have employed, right? So some of the judicial observations as from the Supreme Court judgments: Arun Kumar Agarwal versus National Insurance Company of 2010, Supreme Court said that it is absolutely invaluable when we have look at the women's contribution, but we cannot compute it in terms of money and give a specific rate fixed. Okay, this is much, and 100 rupees or 200 to 3000 rupees. So right, you cannot really compute in terms of money with when we have a look at this invaluable amount of the work that the women does in terms of caregiving and also the household work. And also the same thing was highlighted in Rajinder Singh case in 2020. In 2001 census, women, about 36 crore women, were categorized into beggars, prisoners, and prostitutes for their nil or negligible amount of contribution to GDP. So that is the kind of categorization of women statistically, when the government and the country has not decided where exactly the household workers should be put in place, or housewives should be put in place, right? So, having a look at all this, UPA, the United Progressive Alliance, led by Congress in 2012, made it mandatory for a man to pay his women. But there was a small cartoon which made a joke out of it, where it said that, okay, I'm ready to pay you, but about 3,355 rupees would be cut off from your salary because you spent some amount of days in your parents' home. And this clearly shows or highlights that When you start paying your partner, it would look like an employer-employee relationship, and there would be no valuation to the work that you do. Rather, it would become a master and slave or an employee-employer relationship. It would create more hierarchies at home, wherein one person is at the mercy of other. Right. So this kind of mandatorizing or making an employer-employee relationship would not work out. But one thing that would work out is prenuptial marriage agreements, wherein the woman has to have an agreement before the marriage for amount of share from the husband, and also a husband should have some amount of share of the women's property, whatever has been in their name. Because usually when we see, only when the husband passes away, a woman gets the property of the husband, and not before his death. So there should be some prenuptial marriage agreements where the things are balanced, and one person is not at the mercy of other person. So there should be equal valuation of work of both men and women during the continuance of marriage. So hope you like this video. If you like the video, please press the like button. Thank you so much.